This is Andy Tube. In this video, I'd like to give you a look inside this working Singer Model 513 sewing machine. What's under those covers and how does it look, and some of how does it work. So I'd like to remove all the covers, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 6 screws to do that. In the front, at the lower left corner of the nose cover, there is one screw. It's not a thumb screw for some reason, but a regular slotted screw. So we'll take that out and take off this cover. I noticed that the cover's plastic. This is a 1970s model, and Singer was well on their way to making more and more plastic parts on their machine to help drive down their cost as they struggled to be competitive against foreign manufacturers. This was really quite a problem for them by the 70s, as more and more models from Japan and other parts of Asia were coming into the marketplace. So we have this cover off now. On the top, as pretty standard with the Singer, there's a couple of screws up here. So one towards the front of the machine and one usually up above the hand wheel area. We'll loosen those two. See if we can pull the cover straight up here. This is also get these little screws out here. This is also a plastic cover now, and I want to take a look. I'm having trouble with my lamp. Is swinging around here and bopping me. Sorry about that. See if I can get the little guy set up here in a place to give a better look at this. Turn this arm lamp out of the way. Move this back a little bit. We'll take a look at this. What I wanted to show you was that this bobbin winder system is all built in to the arm cover plate. Here you see the friction ring or the rubber tire and the mechanism so that when you turn the knob up here from sew to wind, it's going to move the spindle over. But as I mentioned in a previous video, all it does is move the friction ring over so that it can rub on the back side of the hand wheel right there. Then we'll come around here to the back end, what I call the back end. This is the motor cover, and there's two slotted screws, one up here at the top and one at the bottom. Get that down here a little bit. On my machine, and I don't know if this is a standard or somehow modified, it looks standard, but this top screw is really just a kind of, I don't know what I call holding screw. The screw itself is threaded up by the head, and there's matching threads on the cover plate, but there's no threads past that. So it seems to screw into the cover plate, and this part of the screw just fits into a hole in the machine. I think that's just to keep it from turning, because it really doesn't hold it in. That's a little different than other machines from Singer that I've seen. And of course there's one more on the bottom plate, or the oil pan, and I have removed that for cleaning, but it's a flat kind of a washer screw that you put the plate on, and it tightens and loosens right here. And I've already removed that, like I said. So while we're down here, let's take a look at the bottom of this machine. Move some of these plates out of the way so I can maneuver. And we'll start over here in the hook area. And what I'm noticing first off is the plastic gears. And I would say that the gear's been replaced before, because the gear that's on the hook shaft is black, and those weren't around in the 70s. The white one back here, the metal base of it looks original, so I would say that's original gear, and this gear had to be replaced. And that was pretty common when they went to these plastic gears. I see there's some oil or grease on here already. There should never be any oil or grease on any plastic anything in the machine, especially the gears. And in the oiling instructions for this machine, there is a oil point up in the center of the hook base, and I think people would over oil that, it would come down and it would always settle on the teeth of this gear and finally destroy that gear. So it's very common that this gear has been replaced in machines that I find, and sometimes both gears. I'll have to take a close look at that because the gear slant may not match very well, and like I said, I'm seeing oil and grease on it. But you can see as I turn the hand wheel that the gears do turn, and that's what spins the hook. It's a horizontal rotary hook, so it has to go around twice for each stitch. And here you see the feed regulator. The feed lever is going to be moving in an oscillating motion to pull the feed dogs, move the feed dogs to pull the fabric. Over here towards the center of the machine, there are two more plastic gears, and one comes on the feed shaft. Behind here there's a narrow low gear that meshes with the gear on the feed mechanism gear. This gear looks original. The gear behind it again is black, so I'm guessing that that has been replaced too. And that shaft behind there is the main horizontal lower shaft that goes over from the vertical feed system to the horizontal rotary hook. These seem pretty dry. That's good. Over on the end here, you'll see that there is no gear anymore. That they've got a feed belt with cogs onto a cogged pulley on the end of that shaft. So where in other models we had just a kind of a cranking system or two sets of gears here, like in the 401, 404, 500, 503, this has gone to a just a belt drive here. But it is still a cast aluminum body with steel and aluminum shafts and bearings and so forth. So that's good. You can see as I'm turning the hand wheel how this belt is moving the main shaft over to the hook area, and because of these two gears in the middle, that power's transmitted to the rocker feed system for the feed dogs. And again, there's a lot of steel shafts and bearings, and there's a little fork feed system over here instead of up on top of in the top arm. They used to have the big long rocker arm. Now this is a little bitty one down here on a concentric piece on the end. Over here you still have the adjustment mechanism for the motor belt. These nylon spacers here where you can increase or lower tension on the motor belt. That is the same as most of Singer's machines that have a motor belt instead of a direct drive internal motor like the 301, 401, 500, 600 series. There's a little closer look. Maybe let me get in there on that belt, and oh, that's about as close as I can get here. There you can see that belt is turning the pulley, which is screwed to the shaft, turning that. And you get a different angle on the gear setup for the main shaft and the feed dog. Okay, we set this guy up right here, and we'll take a look into the motor end. Back out here and see if I can get some. Where's my? Here's my block. I can maybe raise this up. Give you a better view in here. There we go. So you see it has the built-in motor there. It's got a cogged pulley instead of the V-belt system like 337, 338, 457 models. This has a cogged pulley and a cogged belt, which was supposed to give it a better traction and help eliminate slippage. There's the idea on that. There we go. You see as I rotate the belt there, and you can see part of the stitch length regulator knob. Just when you're turning this, it's pushing a thing in and out, which moves this lever down here. Let me get a better pointer. Moves this lever, you'll see it move, and that's regulating the feed dogs, how much they pull per stroke, how much fabric they pull, and that's what really controls the length of your stitch. If it pulls a lot of fabric, you have a longer stitch. If it pulls a little fabric, you have a shorter stitch. Okay, let's flip this over and get up top here. Not sure. Is that stable? Yeah, it seems pretty stable. So looking at the top here, what you're going to notice right away is these kind of thumb wheels that you turn on the front for the flexus stitch and for changing from zigzag and blind hem. But back behind there, get over here a little bit. Back behind there are the mechanisms for, this is left, center, right needle. You see that moves a little bit right in there. Moves a little bit left or right, and they call it left, center, right needle, but it's really got a bar coming through here and going to the needle bar, and the needle bar is really what moves left to right. And then let's see if I move this. Nope, I'm going to reposition this a little bit here, try and get you at another angle. Hope that stays. Still not going to be able to see too much on the stitch width. It's buried too far down in there to see, so you're not going to be able to see that. You can see the top of the light, J-style light. Is right there. That's why this coil of electrical cord that runs across the top here, up from the switch and down to the light, you can see the part of the upper horizontal shaft that transmits the power from the hand wheel area over here along that main shaft all the way up to the needle bar crank, which I'll show you in a minute. And I was hoping to get in here to show you the top end of that. I don't think you're going to see it too much here. Yeah, it's under all these brackets here. The top pulley and drive belt, where here they used to have the feed fork connection with that shaft running all the way down to power the feed dog. Now they've just got the pulley and the belt up here matching to the one I showed you on the bottom. So if I get into cleaning this and get any of this removed, I'll do some more pictures or video to give you a better view of what's in there. If we go up to the front end, or the nose, it's going to seem a lot different, or it does to me anyway. This is the regulator for the pressure bar pressure. Now, this part of it here and the lifting mechanism remains all the same as most other Singers I've seen, but instead of this having a chrome thumb nut sticking up above the arm cover that you just turn to apply or more pressure or less pressure, they've got some more parts here and made this wheel that sticks up out. And both systems, all it does is apply more tension to the spring. This is demarcated like 3, 4, 5, like that, where the thumb wheel or the thumb nut I actually like better. It's a more simple thing that'll never wear out, and you can customize it. I mean, maybe on this you say 3, it's not quite enough pressure. 4, oh, that's a little too much. That's it. That's your only choice. Where with a thumb nut, you could say, I want, 3 1/3, 3 1/2, 3 1/4. So I think this was a convenience type thing, but really for me, I like the regular old thumb nut. And over here, you see the swing bar mechanism. Here's the same needle bar setup. You've seen this in dozens of models of Singer. And put it on zigzag and turn the crank. You will. Whoops! I gotta have that set in. Sorry, I had it on 0. And we'll see the swing mechanism swing out and swing back in. That's all the same. And the thread take-up lever mechanism is the same, except I'm disappointed to see, I need to get in here. Let me lower this machine back down now. See if I can get in here. There it is. Do you see that white plastic arm? The whole mechanisms in all the other machines I've done over the years, this is all steel. And with this machine, it's a nylon plastic. And I'm just kind of disappointed in that. And you see in the, before I opened this up, I was looking at the instruction manual and the oil points, and there was no oil point here or back up here, where usually it's metal to metal and you put a drop of oil. And I thought, wow, that's weird. They don't need to oil that anymore. Then when I see this, I said, oh, that's why, it's plastic. And don't put oil on here, or you'll just wear the plastic out sooner. So I think this was just more money-saving trials by Singer, but I mean, how much did they save by using plastic instead of metal here? I don't know. Maybe they saved $1, and you know, if they sold 100,000 of these machines, that was $100,000. But I'm not sure if there's any other plastic parts in there. They seem to be metal, but I'll know more when I open it up. Maybe while I got it here, you can see the back side of that pressure regulator dial. Now the 500, the Rocketeers used a system like this, but it was behind the nose plate, but the nose plate just swung open. You didn't have to screw it. So I'll be taking that off to clean it, I'm sure, and can give you a better idea at that time. So I guess that's about it for the tour inside. Of course, this is a fully assembled working machine. Let's see if I can, maybe I'll lift this up and go handheld here for a little bit, and I will run the motor a little, and we'll see how it, oops, I gotta turn the rocker arm. I'll show you that before I go. The light didn't come on here. I think I had some sticky switches with this before. Uh-oh. There we go. Let me lift up the presser foot. I think that switch needs cleaning. The other day I had to turn it on 3 times before the light came on. So you can see the motor belt onto the hand wheel right here. And that's what's going to give the whole machine mechanical power, as the upper shaft goes up to the needle bar crank where all of these parts are attached. And see how this is turning, whether you're using it, even if you're in straight stitch, this whole system turns. It's like a cam, it's like a short cam stack. And if we get up there, you see that brown old gunky grease and a worm gear back in there. See that? So, like any other zigzag machine, the whole mechanism moves even if you're sewing in a straight stitch. There you can see that worm gear, and it's matching up with the cam gear. You see some different colors of grease. That's what happens is people, the old factory brown grease gets kind of stiff and not that good. People just start putting any kind of grease on top of it, which really just compounds things. And then let's get up here to the front, and it's just typical, you know, needle bars going up and down. Let me put it to the widest zigzag. We'll see if we can get some swing movement on it. There you go. A little bit noisy, huh? Yep. Let me flip it over and you can see how the bottom looks when it's running. So there's the belt drive from the upper shaft, the two shaft gears, and the hook gears. So let me start over here showing you that. In those two. Hard to see that black gear in the back. And then the hook gears. And then you can see the feed lift and feed rocker mechanism right across here. Okay. Put this guy up. Let's open up this slide plate, and we'll remove the. Oh, this changed. If I didn't mention, I think I mentioned this in the other video. But with these 70 models, they added a mechanism here. So if you open the side plate all the way, it lifts that retaining pin right there. Puts pressure back on the spring, so you can just remove that very easily. And let's see, where's my little screwdriver? Let me take out this bobbin holder. This has a little retention arm. We turn that left, and then this should come out. There we go. That's the plastic Apollo style bobbin holder that was used for decades. Fortunately, they're cheap, you know, under $10 to buy, because unfortunately the plastic tends to wear out. So when I do a machine for people, I always buy a new one and test it, and set the tension on it, and then give them their old one as a spare. But especially if people are enamored of the metal class 66 bobbins, think that they're better, and that usually tends to wear this out sooner. And we get set up here, and I'll show you that rotating hook. Let's go ahead and it's hard in the video maybe to see that the actual hook on here going around, but that's all one piece with this base, and that's what's easy to see moving. That little hole is where they say put a drop of oil, where I said people over oil this area and it ends up on that bottom hook gear and tends to damage it. Here, I stopped it right there, is the actual hook point of the rotary hook. Okay, well, I hope that's not too jiggly going handheld like that. But as I said, as I get more into cleaning this. I'll probably do some more videos and maybe slideshows, and we'll be able to get a little bit deeper inside so you can see the inside of some of these mechanisms that are covered up by these wheels and brackets and so forth. But I hope that was interesting and worth your time. Thanks for stopping by, and come back and visit my channel whenever you have time. Take care.